What up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, Just As TV. So we got a little bit of things to discuss today. We're gonna make it quick. This is gonna be a quick video. We're just gonna do some stuff that I found in the news that I feel like we need to discuss that nobody is really discussing. Right? Y'all already know I always come to y'all with the stuff because I feel like everybody's talking about popular news and I just want to talk about the news in general, the news in general. Don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe, and I thank you guys for stopping by. Y'all know I love y'all the most. So let's get right into it. So we're going to first start off with the fact that this 76-year-old grandma in, I think it was DC, I'll put it, but 76-year-old grandma gets slammed to the ground by the police. Yes, the police slammed her to the ground because they had the wrong information, for one, and they say that they got a call or some information saying that somebody in the house had a warrant or something like that, and they needed to raid the house. But this lady they was dragging her out, not dragging her, but like walking her out. She was cooperative. She wasn't fighting. She wasn't nothing, none of that stuff. And another cop just runs up and slams her to the ground. So I'm gonna watch the video. I'm gonna let y'all watch the video, and then we're gonna come back and talk about it.
76-year-old grandmother Rena Mellerson, who was thrown to the ground by a Baltimore County police officer last week, is speaking about the incident captured in this viral video.
Do you trust police in Baltimore County where you live?
Well, all of them are not the same. Some are good and some are bad. You just don't know which one you're going to be dealing with.
The Mellerson family says this followed an encounter between Rena's granddaughter, Sierra Floyd, and an officer who then used motor vehicle records to track Floyd down at her grandmother's home.
For me to see the lady that raised me thrown to the ground, I would never do anything like that to my grandmother. And I would not want anything like that to happen to anybody else's grandmother. I'm not a criminal. My mother's not a criminal. My daughter's not a criminal. One thing they can't say, well, we checked their background and they had this, that, and the other. You won't do it to this family.
Lady can barely walk and you slam her like that.
Before another officer responded and threw Ms. Mellerson to the ground.
We want justice because we need to let the community know that what happened to Ms. Mellerson, to Sierra Floyd, to these children is unacceptable. It will not be tolerated.
Rena Mellerson, who was taken into custody and later released, faces 3 misdemeanor charges. Police have not spoken about the video, but in a statement, Baltimore County's police chief called it unsettling to watch and said there would be an expedited investigation.
So now that y'all seen the video and y'all seen the footage of this old lady getting slammed to the ground, I feel like that was unnecessary. It was excessive force. It was not needed. She was cooperating. She was walking to the car. There was no need for him to do that. And I feel like he needs to be reprimanded. Right about now, the police action is ridiculous right about now. If you come in contact with the police, you got to be really, really, really careful how you carry yourself, because they just reckless right now. And our bodies mean nothing to them, so they're gonna do whatever they need to do. How would he feel if somebody did that to his 76-year-old grandmother? He wouldn't like it. He wouldn't like it at all. But yet here he comes on 10, rushing this lady. His partner already had the lady, walking her to the car. She had nothing to do with the situation, but yet you tackle her to the ground like that, throw her to the ground like that. For what? She was 76 years old. What could she do? She wasn't doing anything. Like, really? And then I had a situation like that too. And I'm gonna give y'all a real quick scenario. I had a situation like that. I'm in my house. Me and my little ones is in the house. My mom is in the back, right? Somebody comes banging on my door, and I was like, what the heck? I didn't even have on any clothes at the time. Somebody comes banging on my door, so I go to the door. It's the paramedics and somebody else, not the police. So I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Oh, it's somebody here, we got a call, such and such. And I'm like, this is not the apartment. Y'all have the wrong apartment. This is not the apartment. Y'all have the wrong apartment. I told them that 3 times. Then I go back, I lay down thinking it was all gone, that they was gonna figure it out, call dispatch and figure it out, because they had the wrong apartment. Nobody called them. Here comes the police, knocking on the door, banging on the door, hard, scared the crap out of my kids. This dude, all aggressive, move back, and I'm like, first of all, I keep telling y'all have the wrong apartment. Nobody from this apartment called the cops. Y'all have the wrong apartment, right? We settled it, but he was real nasty and disgusting, and we settled it. I closed the door, and then, and it was really longer than that because I felt like he was violated. So I called the precinct the next day to report him because I felt like he needed to be reported because he was aggressive for no reason. Come to find out, they did have the wrong apartment and the wrong building. And I've been telling them, I said, all the time y'all standing here trying to argue me down, y'all could have been figuring out what the real problem was, where the real problem was. But no, I was the one that was wrong because I was aggressive towards them. You see what I'm saying? So they do things like that and expect that it's that we're not supposed to be a certain way towards them, but y'all are in the wrong. So he was in the wrong for slamming this old lady down. I don't know. Y'all drop that in the comments and let me know what you think about that. Even drop that in the comments and put a thumbs up if you have encountered, like had a crazy encounter with the police. You know, drop that in the comments and let me know. You know, I support y'all. Drop that in the comments and let me know. So let's move on to the next story. Child. A woman, they had a cipher going on. A cipher. 3 guys and a woman had a cipher going on. They was battling, you know, battle rap. Y'all know what it is. Battle rap, right? Y'all know what a cipher is. So they battling. Right? The woman ends up beating the guys in a battle rap. A rap, right? These dudes proceed to grape her, set her on fire, and then pum her because she beat them in a battle rap. Now, my whole thing is, this kind of like speaks to the fragility of the male ego and the mindset of a man. Not all men, certain men, but it's going to be all men for me until I see something different. She beat you in a battle rap. Your ego is on the floor. So you feel like y'all need to grape her, set her on fire, and then pum her? Crazy. Y'all really need to get a grip of yourself and figure out what is going on. Why are y'all like this? What's happening? Like, what makes you react that much to somebody and do such heinous things to somebody when all she did was beat you in a rap? That's all she did. All she did was beat y'all in a rap. It's a battle. It's a rap battle. It's not that serious. It's not life or death. Nobody would have knew that she beat y'all in a rap battle if y'all wouldn't have did this to her. You understand what I'm saying? That's crazy how y'all attach things to y'all ego and y'all are so soft that y'all can't even take a L. Like, that's crazy to me that you would do something so heinous to somebody because they beat you in a rap battle. That is so petty and so tedious. And back in the day when they used to do ciphers in Brooklyn, back in the day when they used to be doing ciphers on the street and stuff like that, yeah, sometimes things like that would happen. But people really just enjoyed the cipher, win or lose, to the point where Remy Ma and them, they have rap battles like that they actually do shows on. You understand what I'm saying? So for you to not be able to take an L from somebody who beat you in a rap battle, and the fact that she was a woman, that, she can't do that it hurt your ego that much that you needed to do this to this lady, that's crazy. I need y'all to take a look at that story, do your own research, investigate and see. But yes, a rap battle. They lost the rap battle to this chick, and they felt that they needed to do these heinous acts to her. Crazy. And it also speaks to the fact that women's lives are expendable. That's what it speaks to as well. Women's lives are expendable. Because if you can get so upset to the point where you do this to her, or because she beat you in a rap battle, what else? What else is there to do? What else is there to do? I feel like y'all need to tighten it up. Y'all need to definitely tighten it up, shore it up, and make sure that this stuff don't, put your ego in check. Put your ego in check. This is why people say we choose the bear. This is why people say that it's all men until there's no men. Literally, you can't do anything in the presence of a man and think that it's safe and it's gonna be okay. You can't. And that's just where we at, ladies. Y'all need to get it together. Y'all need to get yourself equipped and get it together, because it's all men until it's none. And that's just what I gotta say about that situation. I don't care how y'all feel. I don't care what it is. That's my opinion. I'm gonna say what I need to say, and that's just how I feel, because that's ridiculous for y'all to do this to this lady, and all she did was beat y'all in a rap battle. That's crazy. It's crazy. But y'all check that story out. Give that story some traction, and let's move on. So we're going to move on to the Super Bowl talk. So we're going to have some Super Bowl talk. Y'all already know that Kendrick Lamar has already been chosen for the halftime show, show for the Super Bowl. And there was a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of ups and downs. There was a lot of likes and dislikes, being the fact that he was the one that was chosen over Lil Wayne. A lot of people came out and spoke for Lil Wayne. Some people came out and spoke against Kendrick Lamar. And a lot of people came out and spoke for Kendrick Lamar. And then other people came out and spoke against Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne came out and was pointing a finger. I'm not going to go into that. I might find the video for y'all to play for y'all to see what he said. It all depends on how I feel. But I feel like I would be more inclined to see a Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl than a Lil Wayne Super Bowl. Kendrick Lamar to me is like how Usher did last year. Like, Kendrick Lamar can bring what he needs to bring. And we also, Kendrick Lamar could bring what he needs to bring for the Super Bowl, and I feel like it would be a great halftime show. Lil Wayne, on the other hand, who he gonna bring out? All of the people that he used to run with, Little Baby and all of them, and what's his name? Oh, the girl you look. I don't remember. Don't get me to lying. But who he gonna bring out for the halftime show that it needs to be, just because it's in New Orleans and he's from New Orleans or Louisiana, that he needs to be the chosen one? I don't think so. And me personally, my personal opinion, I feel like Lil Wayne, every time I see Lil Wayne get on the screen, I feel like he is on something. He talks so very slow. His words are slurred. I don't know what he's saying half the time. And I feel like he needs to not participate in a halftime show. But that's just my own opinion. I would look forward to watching Kendrick Lamar before I watch Lil Wayne. But there's some other people outside of my opinion who came out and spoke about it. Now, Charlemagne the God had his opinion about the Super Bowl as well, and the Super Bowl pick. He said what he said. Drake ended up sending him a cease and desist, child. A cease and desist, Drake. Then, because he talked about the Super Bowl, but then he also talked about Drake dropping a new song over the weekend, and the fact that it didn't get any traction because everybody was focused on the Super Bowl and stuff like that. So I'm gonna let y'all watch that video, and then we're gonna come back and discuss. Okay, so now that y'all seen that video, what do y'all think about that situation with Drake and...
Like I said, okay, so if he does not like us at the Super Bowl, I want the opening chorus, and then just the hook, and move on. Oh, you don't probably gonna stop at A minor, have the whole crowd singing, and then go to the next song. And let me tell you something. What? If you think that the NFL and Rock Nation and a bunch of other people didn't get a whole bunch of legal letters yesterday from people with owls as their stamp on,
yeah.
I promise you, you're not calling me a pedophile at the Super Bowl. I guarantee you, the OVO people sent so many legal letters yesterday. I guarantee it.
And Charlemagne, I feel like that is how a lot of the things that Charlemagne said. I feel like that's how the industry is run. I feel like back in the day, radio stations used to get paid to play certain songs and certain music to push their artists. I believe that was happening, allegedly. And then it kind of like graduated. So a lot of these just disc jockeys, DJs, and radio station hosts, I feel like they do have relationships with the talent. And I feel like a lot of them have an agenda, and they do be trying to push stuff for certain people, depending on who they like, how they get along, whatever the case may be. I feel like they do have an agenda. I feel like they do push certain things and certain music because you hear a song and you be like, oh, whatever, I like it or don't like it or whatever the case may be. But then you hear the song so much that it's in rotation so much that it kind of like grows on you, and you kind of like play it more, you search it more, or you go buy the album, or you download it to whatever app you have that you could download it to. But at the end of the day, it's still bringing traction and recognition to the artist. So I feel like a lot of these DJs do have an agenda, and they do have a ulterior motive, and they have a relationship with the talent that they do things like that. So that's pretty much what he was saying. So he was saying that the song didn't get traction. The song wasn't all of that, whatever the case may be. Is nobody really paid attention. Nobody knew Drake dropped the song, and Drake kind of felt some kind of way and came back at him and dropped the cease and desist, period, right? But then he also discussed the Super Bowl and the fact that Kendrick Lamar, and he was saying who Lil Wayne was going to bring out and how that's going to work. And because Kendrick Lamar doesn't want, Drake doesn't want Kendrick Lamar to play They Not Like Us. So that's how it all kind of got started. He doesn't want he doesn't want Kendrick Lamar to play They Not Like Us. But everybody knows that song. It's popping. He feels some kind of way. And it is what it is. Drake felt butthurt because Charlemagne said something about that song or the situation. So he sent him a cease and desist. And it's all good. Charlemagne even said they have like a love-hate relationship. And it is what it is. I'm all right with it. Whatever. We're going to move on. 50 Cent had something to say about the Super Bowl and how the Super Bowl is picked, what's done, how it works, whatever the case may be is. I'm gonna let y'all watch that video and then we're gonna come back and discuss as well.
Okay, so I gotta ask you this one. This one is a hot topic one. This is big. What's your 2 cents on Kendrick Lamar doing the halftime show in New Orleans for the Super Bowl, especially knowing like Lil Weezy from New Orleans? I mean, that's big.
Yeah, I mean, it was a choice. I think Kendrick deserves, as a solo artist right now, he's the guy. But having the game be in New Orleans, having it be played in New Orleans, that I can see why they got the win. I think the way the last show was put together with me, Eminem, Dr. Dre, Kendrick was there, Kendrick and Mary J. Blige.
Yeah.
If
He could bring out P, Master P, Juvie.
well, he should bring out the people that he featured on big records with, like
True that. But other people too, because I think the great thing about it is to see everybody perform together.
Yeah.
And the way Kendrick is bringing people together, even though it's a little beefing. So my question to you is, how you feel about the beefing?
I think it's good for the culture.
Yeah,
You wouldn't have. They both Drake and Kendrick produce quality music faster. Because they would compete with each other. That competitive nature made them go work and have responses. So it's like, hip hop is still, it's not just a genre where you can just make a song and sit back. You got to make a song and be ready to make a song again, like right away, like with other artists.
And to your point, I think iron sharpens iron. When you coming back and forward,
Get the best.
keep it on wax. I love when remember LL Cool J and Kumo D was going against each other. That's the way you do it.
That's usually a highlight. That's usually a highlight of you remember those moments.
Everybody remember that one. Yeah. Last one for me. This is another hot one. It's a bonus hot one. You think Drake would do a Super Bowl? You think that he'll be invited to do a Super Bowl halftime?
You know what I don't think people realize? You have to pay to do the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The artist has to pay, and then for it to be a good Super Bowl show, it has to be elaborate. So you got to spend a lot of money to make an exciting show.
It is.
Breaking news. I didn't know that.
Yeah, tell them to pay for it. Tell the NFL to pay for it, and watch it's going to get a lot better.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
All right, so now that y'all seen that video as well, let's discuss. So 50 Cent brought up a couple of topics. He brought up the fact that they have, one, the artist sometimes has to pay for the Super Bowl, whatever the case may be, but then they also bring in a lot of revenue and they get paid as well because of the ads. Everybody wants to watch the Super Bowl ads and commercials, and they pay top dollar to get a slot in the Super Bowl. Then, everybody tunes in for the halftime because that's like the creme de la creme of the Super Bowl. Even if they're not watching the game, that's what they pay attention to, the halftime show. And I agree with 50 Cent. Lil Wayne, I don't think he got it. As much as he goes right and he right for other people, I don't think that he would be able to put on a show. Plenty of people came out and said that he is unprofessional. He didn't show up to his rehearsals. This is all alleged. He's unprofessional. He didn't show up to his rehearsals. He showed up last minute. He was unprepared, like a whole bunch of stuff. Nobody wants that on a Super Bowl event. And then also Kendrick Lamar just did a show in California and everybody was talking about it for days. So you think the Super Bowl is not gonna get, you think they're not gonna get wind of that and be like, okay, we want him because he's gonna bring in what we need? Like, come on, y'all got to think about it. Y'all literally have to think about it. Then they also were saying that he wasn't voted. And then they were saying stuff about Jay-Z and the fact that Jay-Z let him down. And I don't know about the ins and outs of that part of it. But I just feel like that has nothing to do with it. You could look at Lil Wayne and see that he's not, I don't think personally that he is capable enough to put on the Super Bowl show and make it spectacular so where people are talking about it and downloading videos and watching videos for days. I just don't think that he is capable enough. But that's just my thoughts. I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. I could be wrong. Y'all drop that in the comments and let me know what y'all thought about Kendrick Lamar being nominated for the Super Bowl and being picked for the Super Bowl halftime. Drop that in the comments if y'all think whether Kendrick Lamar needed to be or what Lil Wayne needed to be the one. Y'all drop that in the comments and let me know what y'all thought about the cease and desist with Charlemagne and how he classified his relationship with some artists and what they do behind the scenes that we don't know about, even though by now I feel like all of us should have speculated enough to know that this is the things that they do in order to push their music. I feel like we should have already known this. Y'all drop that in the comments and let me know what y'all situation is. And my last story I wanted to talk about, because I have not all the time, but just recently, when I go on Facebook, sometimes I'll see the podcast shxtsngigs, right? And I'm sure it's been going on for a week, so I'm sure y'all all know the situations with what happened with them when they went on Andrew Shultz show. Now, the reason why I brought up Andrew Shultz and his show is because he has a few podcasts. 2, I think he has with Charlemagne. I can't remember the name of the podcast. Reasonable something. I can't remember the name of it. But I know that I've seen him a few times with Charlemagne, and I thought that he was controversial then, and I think he's controversial now. He does a lot of race baiting. He does a lot of racial talks, race division talk. Like, he does a lot of things. This is all alleged. This is just my opinion. And he does a lot of things, but that I've seen and I've heard. And he's a comedian. He talks about he talks about a lot of different races and ethnicity and jokes. He does all kind of jokes and stuff, right? At the end of the day, the two, James and Fuhad from the podcast shxtsngigs, came on. They're doing an American tour. This is the second time they did the first one. They did the second one. And they came on and they were having casual conversations with Andrew Shultz, James and Fuhad, right? They started discussing dating preferences, right? So they initially asked him, do they date or date, either race, black or white, whatever the case may be, is right? They said they date both. He was surprised. So that was the bait question. And he started out light. But then he graduated to what is the black woman effect, like the black wife effect, right? They discussed that. That was the second bait question. They discussed that, Now, initially it started off with, you get married to a black woman, she elevates you, she, this, that, and the third, right? But then he kind of made a comment that, they, you lose your hairline and they abuse you, beat on you and stuff like that, right? So a lot of women, black women in particular, got upset about the statements that they made. He also made some derogatory statements about Nigerian people and the fact that they are scammers. And James nor Fuhad said a word. They were like laughing, kiki, ha ha ha. I'll probably find it and play the video for y'all as well at the end. And then, conversation kind of like shifted. A lot of women were upset, dragging them on the internet for dear life, which rightfully so, they should have been dragged. Now, my whole 2 cents on the situation is, I feel like they come across my Facebook feed. I watched them occasionally. I thought some of the stuff was funny, some of the stuff was not. I just, it is what it is. It wasn't my cup of tea to the point where I was going to go follow them and support them. I mean, I had it in my mind that I wanted to follow them because I kind of thought the topics and the stuff that they discussed were funny, right? Now, with that being said, a lot of their support and their supporters came from black women. So a lot of black women were up in arms because they felt like, we thought you were a safe space. We thought that we could trust you guys to protect our image, whatever the case may be. Is whatever women were thinking, they thought that these two individuals were gonna fulfill that part of it, right? I never thought that because I feel like I already knew who their dating preference was. So it was not a surprise to me when they revealed literally who their dating preference was. I already knew who their dating preference was, their demographics was. So it didn't matter to me either way it goes. It's not like I would try to date one of them. But with that being said, a lot of women supported them and they thought that they were a safe space. I never thought that. I just thought that they were funny. Period. And some of them, not all of them, but some of them. So then they said what they said. They released a video. They went on after they got all the backlash that they did over the weekend. They released this apology video. The apology video did not seem sincere to me. I watched it. It didn't seem sincere to me at all. They wouldn't even look into the camera when they were speaking. And so it didn't seem sincere. It wasn't received well either, at all. Then, after that, yesterday, Andrew Shultz came back and he dropped the finishing, finish him on them when he came and he said that they had authorization in the editing room to cut out what they needed to cut out, and they said no, leave it in. So he literally dropped the final blow to secure their demise. Not saying that they're gonna 100% demise because they have over like 1 million followers, but they did lose a bunch of followers. But with that being said, my opinion on the whole situation is he knew y'all was competition. Y'all should have did y'all homework and knew what you was getting into before you came on that show. He knew that all he had to do was bait y'all enough and draw y'all in enough and then drop it on y'all. And that's exactly what he did. And instead, and you could, I don't care how they say they felt that they was in fight or flight mode. You only in fight or flight mode if you're scared for your life. So were you scared for your life from this guy that you needed to like nervous laugh or funny laugh when you can easily stand up for what you need to stand up, stand 10 toes down in your mess and be like, oh, I don't think that's right. Another thing that pissed me off was Fuhad is African. I don't remember if he's Nigerian or I don't know where he's from, but I know for a fact that his mother and father are African, native Africans. So for you to get up here on this podcast with this man and allow him to degrade and say terrible things about African people, your mother, your father, your people, that was a problem for me. And the fact that his mother is black, you allowed this man to say these things, and your mother is black. See, with James, his father is black, so I don't expect much from him because his dad is black. But with Fuhad, your mother is black. So for you, and I don't even know if he has sisters or not, but for you to allow this man to say these things about black women and your mother is a black woman, shame on you. Andrew Shultz knew what he was doing. He knew that all he had to do was bait you enough and you would not stand 10 toes down in the respect of the women in your culture. You could never come on Andrew Schultz's show and say something bad about white women. You couldn't. You couldn't get on that show and say anything that's unfavorable about his people, his women. But he knew that he could do that to y'all and it would make or break y'all. But y'all didn't know. Not saying I'm not taking, listen, I don't know if it's a culture thing, it's a difference, I don't know. If they know that things like that happen in the United States, the way it happens, to the magnitude that it happens, I don't know. But at the end of the day, they should have did their homework and knew who they was getting into, because they didn't have to come on his show and get on that show and do what they did or say what they said, right? They lost a chunk of their support because of what they said and what they did and how they reacted, and they allowed it. That's my thing. They allowed it. They was shucking and jiving for this fool, and they didn't have to. Your base is established. All you had to do was stand on it. And all you had to do was express yourself and say, oh, I don't feel comfortable having that conversation. Let's not have this conversation. Let's move on. At the end of the day, it's still going to be an interview. You still going to have what you need to have. He's still going to have what he needs to have. Whether he put the content out or not, it doesn't matter. But you could have stood 10 toes down, especially being that you have a black mother. So I don't think that this is going to be the end of their podcast, but they are going to be severely, the money is going to hit them severely because they lost a bunch of subscribers. And I feel like this is a hard lesson that you learn. I'm sure they'll probably bounce back from it, but not to the extent of a lot of people are going to be side-eyeing them. There was a lot of people on TikTok talking about how there was a lot of people on TikTok talking about how they will not support them anymore. They don't want to be bothered with them. They are not interested in their podcast anymore. They deleted unfollowed all of their stuff. and they have the right to do that. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I just feel like they should have thought better to do a little bit of research and know who they was getting on this podcast with. What else do I have to say about that situation? I mean, it is what it is. I feel like Andrew Shultz knew what he was doing when he race baited them. Because what happens is, you put this clip out, people are going to come to your channel and try and get traffic. His channel is getting traffic, a lot of traffic from one, the initial statement, and two, from when he came back and dropped the bomb yesterday with more stuff. And then there was more stuff that came out about them and stuff like that. And I'm just like, Andrew Schultz got subscribers and he got a lot of traffic, which translates into a paycheck because of them. They got traffic. It wasn't positive traffic, but then they also lost a lot. He literally, in one full foul swoop, eliminated his competition. In one foul swoop. And it didn't have to go like that if they were savvy enough to know how to approach this situation. Instead of shucking and jiving and placating because you think you made it because you on this podcast. You should have stood 10 toes down. Now, the demographics of their content is going to change, and there's a lot of people that's not going to support them behind it. So y'all drop that in the comments and let me know what y'all think about that whole situation. I just felt like I needed to come on and put my 2 cents in there because I feel like this situation kind of like annoyed me. Even though I was just now getting into their content, it kind of annoyed me that they allowed themselves to be handled this way. And I kind of blame them more than anything else. I don't really care. I never thought, they was never on my dating radar, and I'm probably never on their dating radar because I already know that I'm not their preference. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, they could have had a better handle on it than what they did. It is what it is. But I don't know. I just feel like the era of giving black men a podcast, or some men in general a podcast, I think that should be over. Everybody doesn't need a voice, child. They're not like buttholes. Everybody has one. That's how I feel like it, but everybody shouldn't. But that's just my 2 cents. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
What is the black girlfriend effect?
You don't know about
blow out the other culture.
Yeah, so you'll see a guy who's had a black girlfriend, all of a sudden he's got buzz cut, like clean shape up. I like that.
They shave their hair because they start losing it. Because they're so stressed around this black girl complaining about shit all the fucking time. That's why they gotta shave their hair.
Nah, bro, white guys with black girlfriends,
they grow a beard because there's more cushion when they get slapped the fuck out of it. That's hilarious. I think the black girlfriend effect, it might be a protective instinct, bro.
You think?
Protective. Yeah. Do you guys have you ever had black girlfriends?
Yeah.
Have you ever had white girls?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. What's your favorite? We love them all.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We love them all.
Yeah. That means white.
Who that means white.
Let me give you a translation.
Kendrick fans, get it!
We love them all.
That's Royal English.
Her name is, it doesn't matter anyways. She was on a TV show. I can't remember what TV show it was called actually. And this girl that I was fucking with at the time used to watch that TV show, and she was like, oh, there was this girl that, because she wants mixed race kids, like her heart is set on it. So she wants a black man. That's all she goes for. Yeah. And there's this girl that she used to watch on a TV show who was obviously black. She was like, oh, I wish I was her. I'm thinking, what?
Jesus Christ.
She kept on saying, oh, I wish I was black. I wish I was black. I'm thinking,
Jesus Christ.
What?
For starters, if he was black, you wouldn't be getting any black men. So I'm just saying.
It's just like, that's such a bold statement to say.
I wish I was black.
I wish I was black. Like, yes.
What's going on in your life?
What? Do you know what I mean?
You're white, fam.
You're white.
You're winning. You've won the game.
You're out here. You're just out here white, just with all the rights to you. And you want to be black. I'm not saying there's obviously nothing wrong with being black. I love being black. But like, the fact that what are you seeing that you're not experiencing? Like, what are you seeing? Exactly.
What's so greener over here? Like, what is greener that you're thinking, I'm missing out?
It blew my mind. It blew my mind. Obviously, there was no negative effects on me per se, because I still fucked her.
Yeah.
I had been fucking her before she said that comment, and I was fucking her after that comment.
Quick PSA, quick acknowledgement. So, if you know, you know. If you don't, it's fine. But we just wanted to address something that's happening at the minute. This past weekend, there's been a couple of clips going around from when we did a session on the Flagrant podcast while we were on our US tour. And yeah, there were a few jokes made that were incredibly inappropriate. One specifically pertaining to black women. And in the clip, Andrew was making a joke. I'm not even gonna get into specifics, making a frankly racist joke. And we were laughing at it. And to give, there's first of all, before we get into like specifics or anything like that, obviously there's just literally no excuse. There is no excuse.
Agreed.
And fight or flight is a real thing. Like it is, yeah. Fight or flight is a real thing, and it's so not easy to say, but when you're in the situations, you look at it through a lens of like, bro, if it was me, I promise you, I'll stand up, I'll kick them cameras down, I'll smack homeboy in the face, I'll say this, I'll do that. But when you're in there, you're in shock.
You're in shock, and all you want to do is move on.
Bro, move on is the fucking word, bro. All you want to do is fucking move on. Just move on to the next thing. Just move on to the next thing. And like we had to say a few times, bro, just move on. Just move on.
So many different topics. We were like, move on.
Yeah.
And it's not even like about pity laughs or anything, but we just wanted to
get out of that situation.
Literally get out of that situation, keep the ball rolling. And we thought it was going to be more of like a bros chat. But it ended up being something that's like really, really hurt people that look to us for support and look to us to feel protected. And protected is the main thing that I wanted to discuss, is that it is our duty to protect you guys. Facts.
And it is definitely not cool to be in that situation. And again, not be the ones to stand up and kick the cameras down. And we fucked it on that occasion.
We did.
It's not going to happen again. And it's about being human. It's about realizing that you don't know what you're prepared for. You don't know how to prepare for something
you don't know,
what's going to happen. And once it's happened one time, you're like, fuck, all right.
You learn from your mistakes, and that's literally
learn
from your mistakes.
We fucked it, and we're sorry.
You definitely do apologize.
It's, for me, like, it's one of them ones where you don't realize that, like, for one, when you're part of a community, you don't realize that you can hurt your own community.
Especially
when you're not, when unintentionally.
Unintentionally, for real.
And also, on top of that, it was so crazy that like the narrative that's been spun about how we feel about our community, the irony of the fact that whilst the whole reason we're in that country was to just show how much we love our community and show how much we love our supporters and how much time we spent at the shows and just like getting to know people and just like understanding our community better and just like making friends and making bonds and showing love, and they're showing love. And this whole 6-week trip was just about showing how much we love our community and how much our community show out for us. And then to have that exact same trip be the reason that we're having to have this conversation now. But at the end of the day, mistakes make you a better person.
Mistakes do make you a better person.
You're not born a perfect person. And yeah, we don't condone, we don't appease that behavior, we don't rate it. And we don't want you guys to think that we were sat in that room rating what's going on.
We hold our hands up, we apologize, you learn from your mistakes, and we hope we don't let our community down again, because ultimately we do this for you guys. Like,
you guys are all we have, man.
You guys are literally all we have. You guys have taken us to this level, and we don't want to let you guys down going forward and anymore. So, you know, goes.
Right, before we're done, and this is hopefully the learning moment, is that you have empowered those people that are trying to cancel you. Remember, the people trying to cancel you get off on you being canceled. You having to come out and apologize and bend to their whim and change the disposition of who you are. And it is a change, right? Because you had the ability to edit it out. You chose not to edit it out. Didn't mean anything to that. You only want to edit it, or you only want to talk about it now because of the negative reaction. If nobody reacted to it, you wouldn't go back and be like, we feel horrible and we have to protect our community and all this other bullshit you're saying. The learning lesson here is you do not apologize, because you're just going to empower these people who aren't even part of your community in the first place.